Hi, I'm going to try to make this quick. This is kind of in response to some videos comments on a video I've been getting about, well, how do you know you're bipolar? Well, I thought I would address that a little bit. You know, like, you got to get off those meds, and what's wrong with being a little hyperactive? You know, that's all bipolar is. So not true. There's a big difference between just being hyperactive and being in your body propelled and compelled to move against your will, your mouth to speak against your will, not being able to sleep, and of course delusions. That's not normal personality. That's psychosis, you know, hallucinations. It's distressing. You know, if I were just a hyper person and I were pleased with myself as that as part of my personality, I wouldn't have a problem. My brother's like that. They kept wanting to put him on Ritalin. My mom said no, because it just was part of his personality to be active and social. Anyway, you know, and when I'm in an episode of mania or depression, it is often going against totally what my personality is really like. So, first of all, a label, a diagnosis, is not really the #1 priority in psychiatry. Really, it's just looking at the symptoms and treating the symptoms. Coming up with a diagnosis is just convenient, you know, a label. I just realized you might be able to see through my shirt. Anyway, it's just something convenient, easy to file away, and when someone says bipolar 1, they can get a general idea of what to expect and what to talk about, what to bring up. That's all. They are working on tests like MRIs and PET scans and stuff like that, you know, images of your brain. I know that especially when people are in mania, they can see some changes. But there's really nothing like a blood test or a scan that can say, okay, you have bipolar disorder. So what the doctors have to go by, and that's why I encourage psychiatrists, because their emphasis is on these symptoms, and they'll just know more about it. When you go to a psychiatrist's office with, you know, with an issue, problem, symptoms, what they're going to do is ask about your history of the symptoms. They're going to go by what they observe right there in the office. They're going to ask you about your family history, your medical history. They're going to talk to family and friends who are with you, who witness any behaviors or changes. And also, they're just going to observe you over time. And because sometimes, like, episodes can last months and stuff, and the whole disorder can only come clear after long periods of time, like years, sometimes the diagnosis can change, because it does, the disorder sometimes morphs, you know. I was initially diagnosed as bipolar 2 just because I could work. And then my symptoms did get worse with mixed episodes and psychosis, and was changed to bipolar 1. But that only came after being observed over time. So they will do a medical workup to make sure it's not a high thyroid problem, you know, some metabolic problem, hormonal problem, brain tumor, you know. Usually they do get an MRI to make sure it's not something else. And they sort of whittle it down to a diagnosis. how I was diagnosed with bipolar. And I did have a history of being diagnosed with just depression in the past, like when I was starting with it when I was 15. And then when, in some anxiety, I was treated for disorder. I was having symptoms, and I'd had these symptoms before in the past, but it became completely intolerable. I just wasn't sleeping, and I just felt wrong. Something was wrong, and I went to my primary doctor, and I had no idea what was wrong. I had no clue what was wrong. I just knew something was wrong. And I went to my primary doctor, and I said, you know, something's wrong. Something's not right. My thoughts and ideas are going a mile a minute. I can't keep up with them. I can't talk fast enough to keep up with them. And it's very distressing, and I can't sit still. I can't rest. I can't just sit and do anything, and I can't sleep. I try to sleep, and I don't fall asleep, and I'm having these disturbing thoughts that won't go away, and they just persist and persist. And it's disturbing me, it's distressing me, and I can't go on like this anymore. I was in a lot of distress. And she did well, first she said, has anyone ever said that you might be bipolar? And I said no. But it was in my family history, and like depression was too. And I had told her I did have these symptoms before, in cycles of up, and then I would have my typical cycling would be a hypomanic episode going into a manic episode over a period of weeks or months even, and then a little bit of mixed episode in the middle, and then a depressive episode, usually lasting approximately the same amount of time and the same severity of what the manic episode was. So there was a definite cycle before I was on medication. That was pretty predictable. I didn't just accept what she said as being definitive. I just kept it in mind and waited for all the other test results to come through and everything. I don't recommend anyone to decide that, oh, I have bipolar disorder because my family member says I do. My boyfriend says I do. My doctor says I do. I believe you need to really know you do. And when I researched it some more on my own, and I read many different kinds of material, I realized that I fit the mold pretty well. And I was just like, yeah, that's it, you know, it fits pretty perfectly. Not everybody's like that. No, you know, and they even have a category for not fitting perfectly. But, you know, I think that you really have to just go, you know, that fits, that's right, that fits how I think what is going on. If you doubt it, then regardless of who's telling you you have it, then I would question if you do. So, I'm going to go into a second video for a little bit.